from, that we would stay away from, and agree to do that, and do that pleasantly and gladly and willingly. Now, this is not, it's easier said than done, because it does take dedication, and it does take discipline, and it does take education and training, and it takes time. However, the the road to become a devout Muslim believer has different steeps, different angles going up higher in the ranks for everyone, because everyone has different motivations, everyone has different ways of doing things, everyone has his own path to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And there are mechanisms, there are things that we should force ourselves to do to make our path to Allah going up steeper, so we accomplish higher ranks in a shorter times than other people who are going flat, let alone those who are going down because they just following their whims. The moment you give in to following your desires, your angle is negative. You're going down. You're going lower in the rank. And the more you go that direction, the steeper down this line goes, away from the way of Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala. So, my dear respected brothers and sisters, our way to Allah, going higher in the ranks of Iman, going closer in a relationship with Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala, is not going to bestow itself upon you or me. We have to go get it. We have to work for it. And there are specific things that you can do. There are teachings in the Quran, in the Sunnah. There are ways to do just that. And they're not secrets, they're not hidden. Not only that, so the ways are there and clear and obvious, and that's number one. Number two, Allah has put in you a fitrah that Rasulullah SAW calls the fitrah, the nature, the innate desire to draw closer to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that is created in your heart and mind, and all you need to do is to just respond and tune in to your fitrah. That's number two. Number three, we have the role models and the examples who have done it before us, and we can look up to them and follow them and imitate them. إذا أعجبتك خصال امرئ فكنه يكن منك ما يعجبك فليس على الجود والمكرمات إذا جئتها حاجب يحجبك. If you see somebody that is drawn closer to Allah, and you see, don't go about this person and just try to find his flaws and says like, oh look, I'm okay. He looks outside like that, but look what he does and look what he do, and then probably lie about him and accuse him of something. And that's why Rasulullah SAW has connected, or the Quran has connected, سوء الظن بالغيبة. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ثم بعد ذلك نهى عن الغيبة لأن سوء الظن يقود إلى الغيبة وكلاهما مرتبط بالآخر. Backbiting is very connected to thinking bad things about your brother, because it's the motivation to talk bad about your brother. It's in the Quran in Surah Al-Hujurat. If you read Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah has connected thinking bad things about your brother or sister with talking bad behind their backs, because if you didn't, you wouldn't. So the point that I'm trying to make is, when you see somebody that looks like a person that you can look up to, Don't start looking for flaws. Don't start looking for faults. Because إذا أردت لك صاحبا بلا عيب صرت بلا صاحب. The one who looks for the perfect friend or perfect brother, he would be lonely for the rest of his life because there's nobody perfect. Nobody is perfect. So don't let your shaitan or nafs or your critical thoughts or your envy soul make you just look for the flaw and come to the meeting with that good person that he's going to teach you the way to Allah with that critical mind. I'm just coming here to look for his, because we see that people come and instead of just come to learn or come to listen or come to maw'idha, what you hear in the end of the session or the khutbah or the meeting or whatever is a very shallow, I don't want to say stupid comments and criticisms that tells you much about the person who's doing the criticism much more than the person that he's criticizing. So there are these three things. There are the desire or the fitrah. There is the desire or the fitrah to find your way to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala that He has implanted in you. You're born with it. There's also the ilm of this deen that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has left for us, the Quran and the Sunnah and the ulama and the education of deen. But the other one is the role models or the person, whether they are alive, we can watch them and do what they do like what they do, or they gone. They're from the Salaf, and we have their history. We have how they found their way to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So your motivation, it very much depends on your conviction. How much are you convicted? So I believe that if I finish my degree, I've been going in and out, taking courses this semester and that semester and skipping and going. And then I am promised a job if I finish my degree this year or next year. Then I am more motivated. I want to finish it faster. I want to get a higher grade in it because I want that job. وقال العلماء من يعرف المطلوب يحقر ما بذل. If you know your goal, if you know your target, the things that you lay and sacrifice in the road to accomplish that wouldn't matter much. They would look much more cheaper. If your goal is $1 million, for example, and then the sacrifice is 100,000, if your goal was 50,000, then 100,000 was too much to spend for that goal, right? But if your goal is $1 million, then what's 100,000? You can just spend them happily because you're getting much better. So if your goal in Jannah, then what is this life? What is it? It's worth nothing. So the motivation, my dear brothers and sisters, comes from conviction. And that's number one. We have to motivate ourselves to move up in a rank of Iman, to move up closer in a relationship with Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. We have to motivate ourselves through our conviction. And how do we make our conviction stronger to reach the level of certainty, yaqeen? The yaqeen, my dear brothers and sisters, does not descend upon you while you're walking in the street or sleeping in your bed or just going about doing your worldly work. It does not descend upon your head. No, yaqeen is earned. We have to earn the certainty in akhirah, the certainty in Jannah and Nar, the certainty of Allah that has created us. And then we will return to Him. Inna lillah, we belong to Him. To Allah we belong. Wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And He is our destination. There is no way else to go after we're gone. And between this and that, he's counting your breath. He's giving you the oxygen, the water, the food. He's giving you the life itself. So we're very connected to him spiritually, mentally, physically, whether we like it or not. It's the fact. It's the way we reach that level of connection is the realization. It's a matter of realization of how connected to Allah we are every second of our life. That will increase your conviction. And your conviction will increase your motivation. Then you do better. Then your conviction increases. Then you're more motivated. Then you do better. Then your conviction increases. Then you're more motivated, and so on and so forth. Let's go the other direction. I do something haram. It makes a black spot in my heart. This motivates me. I am too busy, mad at myself for the haram I did, to work harder to increase my conviction and get myself motivated to do 2 rak'ah at night, for example, or keep my word of Quran every day, for example. I'm too busy criticizing myself, mad at myself. I end up getting anxiety or end up with some kind of depression or sadness or chronic whatever things happen to us of because we're mad at ourselves. And everybody, every one of us, my dear brothers and sisters, to some extent is mad at himself. I am mad at myself for things I've done that I shouldn't have. I'm mad at myself for things that I should have done, but I went a little bit short of accomplishing it. Everybody is mad. But if you are so distracted, so taken by your shortcomings and your mistakes, then what we're going to do? We're going to fall behind more and more. And the line in the way to Allah going down is going to go steeper and steeper. And we seen people in this world who have a free fall out of the way of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, just diving far from Allah, because my dear brothers and sisters, and some people said, no, that's not possible. That's not going to happen to me. Yes, it will. You know what it takes you? It takes you to shirk. It takes you to start justifying haram. It takes you to a point that you try to interpret the Quran and the Sunnah according to your hawa or your nafs or your desires. It takes you to kufr, ma'asiyah. Takes you as far. The same way when we say blending with the other gender and being too comfortable and joking and having fun together is going to lead to zina. And then you say, no, it's not going to happen. Yes, it does. And this is how it happens. You're not an exception. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, in the time about Maghrib time, sun was dipping in the western and it started to get a little dusky, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam met with his wife Hafsa bint Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhuma, and he stopped to talk to her, and she's so covered, nobody knows who that is. She's totally covered. 2 of the Sahaba passing by, and they see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam talking to a woman figure in the dusk time, and they turn away and start to walk. And he says, Ala raslikuma, wait a minute, come back here. Look at her. She's Hafsa, she's my wife. He said, Rasulullah, it would have never occurred to us anything bad about you. And he said, Inna shaitan yajri min ibni Adam majra dam. Doesn't matter. I just wanted to make sure that shaitan wouldn't find his way to your brains and tell you something about me. Rasulullah is proving his innocence to 2 people that he probably 2 out of 100,000 people of Sahaba at this time. 2 out of 100,000 people. He has to show them his wife's face so that they know that he's not. And you think that we are above it? Rasulullah ﷺ didn't think he was above it. Unless you think you're better than Rasulullah ﷺ, then you're not above it. You're going to fall for it. And the same way this happens, the same way shirk and kufr happens, and I've seen it. I know a person that he stood on the place that I'm standing now, not necessarily in this masjid, but in other masajid in this country. And he has a beautiful khutbah. People loved him. I don't talk to him anymore because he's trying to prove the non-existence of Allah now. And he's so eloquent, so good about it. He's so good kafir. His times, his nights are spent with haram and drinking and women and everything. And his son is trying to be a good man now that he's grown up. He doesn't let him. And he does not let his daughter wear the hijab. If you think it is not going to happen, that's an example of what happens to one of us who started to go easy. And this did not happen in a month or two or a year or two. It took years. But look what happened to him. Like 15 years ago, he moved to Florida, okay? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you and keep you and support you and make you steadfast in your iman. 10 years later, that's how he comes back. So we gotta be careful. We gotta be alert because shaitan is very strong and very smart and very experienced. He's been deviating people since Adam. How many thousands of years of that? If you've been deviating people or trying to convince people, if you're a salesman for 20 years, you're perfect. You sell yourself to the people who doesn't need your community. You can't do that because you have 20 years of experience doing it. Shaitan, we don't know how many years. We don't know how many years since Adam. We don't know. It's too many. And he's been very successful that the majority of human beings are going to hell because of him. He's very good salesman. So you have an enemy who wants to have you thrown in hellfire, and he's alert and he's smart and he's very experienced, and everything with temptations around you is helping him. These are his tools, and you're not really concerning about his work. If an army is around, let's forget an army. If an intruder is in your backyard and he has weapons and tools and he's up for your money or for your something that you have dear to yourselves, would you go to sleep? It's like, oh, he's just gonna go away and say, "A'udhu billahi min as-sariq ar-rajim," and he's just going to take his tools and go away. Is he gonna do that? No. I'll be alert. I'll try to make sure there is no entrances. We leave all our entrances, all our orifices are open for shaitan 24/7. He can enter from whichever one he likes. And we are not concerned. And then we complain, oh, I have depression. Oh, I have this chronic sadness. Oh, I get mad and angry so fast, such short fuse I have. Your enemy is inside you. He's running in your blood, and you're not worried. It's your responsibility to keep the shaitan out. Few words, some Quran. Keep wudu all the time. Shaitan cannot touch you if you have wudu. Fight because you've been fought. The ulama said the most strange, weird thing of a believer who knows that he's been fought 24/7 and he's asleep. He's not defending himself. You, like your heart is like a fortress. And if we're not being working and cleaning up from the enemies and shaitan, it has been fully occupied by them, by the jinn and afarit and shayateen. So, my dear brothers and sisters, living this life relaxed is for those who think that it is just this life and there is nothing after. So if you don't think there is no Jannah, no Nar, no Rabb, no nothing, and this is just إنما هي حياتنا الدنيا نموت ونحيا وما نحن مبعوثين, then relax. You have all the right. But if you think you're gonna be held accountable, and if you think that shaitan is working hard and making you end up in غضب الله في جهنم والعياذ بالله, then you cannot relax. You can only relax if you guarantee that you go into Jannah. Rasulullah says, if you know what I know, you will seldom smile. You will laugh very little, and you'd cry a lot. And you will never be able to enjoy yourself with any pleasure of life. And you will go out of your family and wealth and go out to the mountains, raising your hands to the sky, asking Allah to save you. The Prophet ﷺ says, لو تعلمون ما أعلم لضحكتم قليلا ولبكيتم كثيرا ولما استمتعتم بالنساء على الفرش ولخرجتم إلى الصعودات تجأرون إلى ربكم. This is the situation, my dear brothers and sisters. Najah is available. Salvation is rare, is available, very available, and it's clear, and it is handy, and it's reachable. Rely on your fitrah, the good nature that Allah has created in you to find your way to Allah. Fitrah, it's true, it's real, even to the point the Prophet ﷺ says every man and woman is born submitting to Allah, and it is his or her parents that switch him to another way of faith. So you're born Muslim no matter who your parents are. You're born Muslim. Adam kana Musliman. Ibrahim, Nuh, all the prophets, they spoke, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates on their behalf in the Quran that they were Muslims. Literally. Mim, Sin, Lam, Mim. Muslim. All of them. إبراهيم ونوح وإدريس وموسى وعيسى ومحمد صلى الله كلهم كانوا مسلمون. You're born Muslim. Go back to your fitrah. Use the tools, the Quran and the Sunnah and the history of this deen. Use your salah, use your sabr, use your istighfar, use your hamd, use la ilaha illallah. All these are tools that are available and easy. How hard is it to say subhanallah wa bihamdihi 100 times? It saves you a lot, and it builds for you a lot in the hereafter. Allah made salvation easy and available because He knows how weak and easily distracted we are. And Allah knows how it is very easy for us to fall for haram. It's right there at the door. All we need to do is just answer the door. You need to have the strength to keep that door locked and put in your head and heart that opening the door of haram is not an option. Because as long as it's an option in your head, it's going to open. You're going to open it. Definitely. Not 99%, 100%. If it's an option in your head, you will open it. It's just a matter of time. So make haram door, because as soon as the door is open, you don't know what's going to come through. If you know, then good for you, because nobody does. You open the door of haram and you can't help. Do you want to jump from the 30th floor and say, okay, I'm not going to fall all the way to the ground. I'm just going to fall down 5 floors and then in the 25th floor and I stop. Opening the door of haram is like jumping from there. You're not going to fall only as many floors as you want. You're going to fall all the way to the ground and probably dig a hole there and can't get out. Don't open the door. Just shut it. Al-Fitrah is in you. Recognize it, align with it, and use it. The examples of the Sahaba and the Salaf al-Salihin and the good people who live among us is another strong way to find your way to Allah. And the examples of all these people are very easy to find, are available. Remember if we needed a Quran, we would have to go order it from Saudi so that we can have an Arabic Quran. I mean, you probably don't remember that. I do. It was not available. Now you can open your phone and click and get all the tafsirs there are. You have a whole library. The biggest library in the world is in your hand. It's available. It's so easy. It has never been so easy to find the deen, the ta'aleem, the hifz, the Quran, the hadith. It's never been easy. The tools to save yourself are very easy and available, even easier than finding haram. Finding haram is so easy. Getting distracted from Allah and from Salah and from the Quran is the easiest thing almost. But easier than it is to find the material and the tools to save yourself from it. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps his responsibility on us, that he would always show us the way. The fitrah, the role models, and the tools that are available for you to find your way to Allah. Use it to solidify your yaqeen, conviction in Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and then keep on it. Reaching some higher level sometimes is much easier than keeping that level. You have to keep fighting to keep the level that you've reached, and then stay there, because pretty soon we will be all there standing before Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, asking us, how did we do with these tools? Did we use them? أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. With all these tools, yet Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala sends us the reminders. Before we know it, it's Ramadan, and before we know it, it's the Ashra al-Hijjah, and before we know it, it's Muharram. And you know what's happening Monday? This coming Monday? It's Ashura, the 10th day of Muharram. Rasulullah sallam fasted it, and he said, أحتسب عند الله أن تكفر سنة ماضية. So the fasting. So add to all the three ways, all these reminders that are keep happening over the time, that brings you back, gives you a reason to worship Allah, gives you a reason for ibadah, gives you a reason to read Quran, gives you a reason to do dhikr, gives you a reason to fast. Even though the one who is so convicted and so in a way for certainty, they don't need reasons, but Allah knows how weak and how deviated we can be, easily distracted. Though Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala keeps us awake, keep us alert. Stay alert, my dear brothers, my dear sisters. Don't let shaitan fool you. إن الشيطان لكم عدو إن الشيطان لكم عدو فاتخذوه عدوا إنما يدعو حزبه ليكونوا من أصحاب السعير. Shaitan is your enemy. Make him your enemy. Make a point that he is your enemy, and be alert to your enemy. You know what he promotes? Jahannam. That's what the Quran says. That's what he promotes. That's what he wants you for. And the choices are many, too many. So you can't just leave yourself to all the choices, because you're not. What if I let myself without a choice, what are the chances that I will fall for the good, the perfect choice? If there was 1,000 of them, 1 in 1,000. So the choice to take the way to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is very definite, very particular, and you have to choose it and take it and work your way on it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. My dear respected brothers and sisters, may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala show us the way and give us the help and the support and the thabat, and give us the understanding and give us the soul and the mind and the heart to find our way to Allah, so that the way we meet Him on Tawbah. So the day that we meet Him on La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, so that the day we meet Him we were worthy of Jannah and not Jahannam, wal iyadhu billah. My dear respected brothers, keep begging Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for salvation. He can just give it to you, but you have to show Allah that you're worthy of it. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا، ربنا اقبلنا واجبرنا وانصرنا واسترنا، ربنا قربنا وثبتنا وثقل موازيننا وحقق إيماننا، اللهم ارفع درجاتنا ونور وجوهنا، ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار، اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة. فستذكرون ما أقول لكم وأفوض أمري إلى الله، إن الله بصير بالعباد، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وأقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة، الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واستقيموا يرحمكم الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله، إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى، ونيسرك لليسرى، فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Just a reminder, inshallah, on your way out, don't forget the masjid from your donation. The masjid depends after Allah on you, inshallah, on your donation. Also a reminder, this Monday is the Ashura, and it's recommended to fast Ashura, and it's recommended to fast a day before or a day after, but you can fast Monday by itself, inshallah, and it forgives 1 year past of your sins. So, inshallah, make sure you have the intention to fast, inshallah. Also, next Saturday, we're having a potluck picnic. We're going to go to Hopkinton State Park. So everybody's invited, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.